when smartphones came out, iPhone came out 7 years ago, everyone was downloading every app, and I did a lot of digital sort of proposition work with large corporates who can't get people to download their app. Tesco's, Sainsbury's, Nectar apps, people just aren't downloading them. People are solidifying on a very small number, that home screen, maybe a couple the screen afterwards. So there's very much, I think, a comfort and a convenience element. And actually, people talk to us about how, what are we going to do in order to kind of take on the big banks? And that's not our prime concern. It's you guys. It's end customers. Because actually at the moment you're given this smartphone with the equivalent of a kind of 1980s cash machine, what your balance is, some little chronological list of charges, your electronic statement. And then you have to work out everything yourself.
But that's because the app is using the ATM interface
Totally agree.
to query the core banking.
Totally agree.
They've got no API access to core banking.
I agree.
It's not exactly that. It's that the people who approve the design are people who are using the ATM.
So in the end, you look at sort of the modern banking app, and it's not about solving the problems we have every day, about the managing the money that you have, about moving it around, about someone looking after you. You're going to run out of money. Your Eon bill this month was 30% higher than it was last quarter. All of the stuff that if you had a personal assistant, would help. I was at a conference this week, and someone said 2 generations ago, banking was better than it is now. That actually we've gone from that kind of bank manager who knew where you were in your life. Oh, so-and-so's gone to school, you need this. No?
It's a myth because the expectation was so much lower less than 2
Okay.
years ago. And that's what it was today.
Yeah,
The
all the
expectation we have
shots
from a
Wednesday.
bank is
Okay. Good one. So, but I think that there is a technology today allows us to move to that personalised, intelligent experience rather than factory banking.
So two very quick points. The point about the apps is, I'm saying hundreds of apps, but for each individual person, it's actually not that. I can't remember the statistic off the top of my head, but for the average person, 90% of their disposable income in a month goes to, I think, 5 places. So like on my phone, if I've got like a Waitrose app, a Co-op app, the Shell Garage app, basically that's most of my money. You don't need hundreds per person. It's sort of hundreds all around. But just the point about what it would actually do. So if it's possible to use technology to deliver that kind of useful advice, or you're going to run out of money, so you need to do this, that, and the other. Well, I don't understand what that's got to do with the bank, because I'd lay a pound to a penny that Apple or Amazon or whatever will do that better. And so then they'll say, oh, by the way, if you're going to buy this, you're going to run out of money, so you need a little bit of a loan.
The only reason they don't want to do it is that regulation is so much of a burden. If somebody's already dealt with it, let's work with that.
A very simple analogy. Many years ago, I worked on a project for AT&T in the US, which was for General Motors, right? And this was to do with auto financing. So you go into this was new in those days, right? So you go into the car dealership, you go to buy a car, you fill out your name and address, why did you like that car? And what the system does is it looks to see if you're a good credit risk. And if you're a good credit risk, GM finance the car for you on the spot at 0% or whatever. If you're a bad credit risk, they direct you to the nearest bank. That's exactly what's going to happen in this, but not just for cars, for everything. I feel quite strongly that the challengers have to have a different, I hate to use the word in front of designers, but they have to have a different narrative. The challengers have got to have a different story, right?
I'll give you a different narrative.
But you see why I'm challenging.
I do.
Yeah.
The point I'd like to make, though, in all this is just also to shift the conversation or add this idea that actually, in terms of winning, it's not just a technology play, and a lot of the discussion is about technology and so on and so forth. And we're kind of in this phase where, you've got a bank, a high street bank, and now you're putting that on a phone, and I can move my money around and check my balance, this kind of stuff. Which, in a way, in the early days of digital publishing, you take a newspaper and you just whack it on an iPad, and that's largely missing the point. So we live in this amazing period where there is these social time bombs waiting to go off around ageing population, youth unemployment. You look at what happened in Greece. So what's worked for the last 300 years around money and value exchange and the idea of work and people living longer. There's going to be all kinds of social change around, you know, bartering and how people make money and how people share resources and all these kind of things. So actually, once we've got through the thing of I can pay for this, I've got a good seamless customer experience, so on, everyone will be providing that. And actually, the people who are going to win are going to figure out what money and financial services and the purpose of a financial organisation in this kind of new world that we're moving to, and that's the fundamental, and that's not about understanding technology.